rolling tumors to roaring lampooners, the Tigers on a Roll show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Tigers on a Roll. Auburn 72, number 1 Houston Cougars 73. This isn't going to be your typical we lost, it stinks kind of show. This is different. This 1-point loss in the 4th game of the Stephen Pearl era, told us more about this team than the first 3 wins combined. And I'm leaving this one feeling, honestly, I'm feeling confident. And while I was watching it, I was sick to my stomach for the last 4 minutes or so. But I am proud now as the dust has settled. This loss could actually be the launching pad for the entire season. Like, I would say it is. There are no moral victories, but playing the top-ranked team down to the wire with a chance to win it at the end is about as good as it could go, honestly. Without actually winning the game, that's about as good as it can go. And let's get the pain out of the way. We've got a 2-headed monster to tackle from tonight moving forward. Head number 1, the free throw line. Auburn goes 21 for 33 from the stripe, and that is 12 missed free throws in a 1-point game. And Coach Pearl said it himself. That is the difference in the game. And he's right. He's absolutely right. It is simple math. You make just 2 more of those. The last ones that Sway took, just 2 more of those. 17% of your misses from the free throw line, and it would have been the difference to win the game. But it wasn't just one guy. Like I mentioned Sway because he had 2 bad free throws right there at the end that would have kept us in it or got us over the hump there. But it wasn't Sway. It wasn't just everyone. It was a team-wide epidemic tonight. And that is the stuff that keeps everyone up. Coaches, fans, players. That is what keeps you up at night. Free throws are the one thing that you can control in a game that is as chaotic as that was against the number 1 team in the country. And that's what gets away from you. That is what makes losses like this infuriating and heartbreaking, because in classic Auburn fashion, you had the ability to win an enormous game and fell just short. 1 damn point short. But head number 2 that they had the tackle tonight, and this is where the entire game changed. This is when I looked over to the people I was watching the game with and said, that's wraps on this one. Keyshawn Hall, who, by the way, got his 3rd straight double-double. He drives, is fouled, lands awkwardly on the right foot, sinks both his free throws, but then limps to the bench. He is done for the rest of regulation, and we didn't even get a chance to go into OT. He was done for the game. Our best player, the go-to scorer, is out of the game for the final, most crucial stretch against the number 1 team in the country. And you know what? To their credit, to the Tigers' credit, I mean, our guys didn't flinch. But that is the second biggest hurdle that we faced today, and it was an incredible difference in first of all, how Auburn had game plan to play the rest of the end of that game, just the ability to make plays on the court. Like losing Hall was devastating. And then you stack that on top of missing 12 free throws in a 1-point game, and it gets even worse for the Tigers. And you have no idea how that shakes out if he stays on the court. Like, you don't know. If he's on the floor for the rest of the game, that could have been way different. And Auburn ultimately could have won by more than 1 point. I mean, credit to Houston for winning by 1, but Auburn held Houston scoreless for the last 2 minutes and 57 seconds of the game. Forced 3 turnovers. Auburn was clawing back. Keyshawn Murphy, huge dunk, 73-72. And then we get ball back, 23 seconds left, with a legitimate chance to win it no matter how it went. We didn't even need to get to the free throw line. There was an opportunity to win this game just running our offense and running down the clock. And we did, and we tried. Tahad drives, blocked. We keep the ball. He drives again, blocked. At this point, it is absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. Ball goes out. You think it's like, what is it, 0.2 seconds? Do we have 1.2 seconds? We got 1 second left on the clock. 1 second. And not to bring up, old phrases, but Auburn used to believe in just needing 1 second. And I did not hate the inbound play that Steven drew up. The lob goes up to Murphy. Murphy goes up and nothing. No call. No points. No call. The buzzer sounds. Houston's bench rushes the court at Legacy Arena. They're celebrating. And Stephen Pearl gets out on the court. But he ain't celebrating. He's heading for the beeline for the refs. And look, I'm not one to blame the refs, but I will always point out bad officiating that can be substantiated. And sure, Auburn had missed 12 free throws. Like, we're going to continue to talk about that until the next game. No doubt about that. But you cannot tell me in a game that is that physical, with all of the contact at the rim in the final 3 possessions, that none of it was a foul. None of it. You simply cannot make that argument. It holds no water. That final sequence was absolute agony. But forget the final score for a second. And just look at the performance. Neutral site game that should have felt like a home game to the Tigers. The crowd was phenomenal. And this team with a first-year head coach went toe-to-toe with the undisputed number 1 ranked Houston Cougars. The same Houston Cougars team that is known, and we covered it on the last show, known to suffocate you. They're built on defense and physicality, and we matched them. We held them to 29% from 3. We damn near basically overcame all of the defensive pressure. We turned them over, and we never backed down. And I think that's what we learned from today. We learned that Keyshawn Hall is not just good. He is an all SEC level player. The offense runs through him. He is a legit 3-level scorer, but his health is now priority number 1. Let's not muddy that up. We have got to make sure that he is healthy and he is recovered and that this is not a serious injury. He is the best player on the team. We learned that Elijah Freeman has that dog in him. If he can bring posterizers to every game, then that is the energy that will keep the Tigers up for 2 halves every game, no matter who the opponent is. And we also learned that this team has a defensive identity, which if you watch the preseason episodes, there were a lot of questions on what exactly this team was going to look like with the players that we put together that we had no film on, essentially, right? We've got it. And it's Stephen Pearl's kind of the essence of the way that he runs defense, but a ton of man-to-man. I think we've ran man-to-man not like something like 91% of all game time this season so far. And then they mix in the 1-3-1 and the 1-1-3 for the full court or half court zones that are mixed in, but they all focus on denying easy buckets. And that 72-71 is a relatively low scoring game, I thought, for what these two teams can do. And I think that they lived up to that expectation with denying easy buckets. They still struggle to defend those slips down the court, and it hurt us again today. But the defense came together better than they had all year, and they were gritty. And they prevented them from getting deep, a lot of threes. They prevented them from capitalizing on some deep shots, and they made them work for it. But the biggest thing that we learned today is about Stephen Pearl. Stephen was straight up asked about what positives you could take away from this game, and his response: moral victories are for losers. And we've already seen it the last couple of weeks with the football team, but that's the standard. That is the standard in Division I NCAA ball. I mean, it should be the standard for, JV kids. But like, that is the standard. And Stephen Pearl is embodying that. And that is the Auburn standard. He is not happy that they just kept it close. Like, close is a triggering word at this point now for Auburn sports fans. But he's not happy with that. He's furious they didn't win. I mean, he was giving the refs a tongue lashing at the end of the game. He's furious they did not win. And he told the team that he thought Auburn was the better team and that he expected to win this game. And that right there is why this loss feels kind of like a little bit of a win for the program's future. They're in good hands. Stephen Pearl has the same DNA that Bruce Pearl has, quite literally, because he's his son. But the team itself has the same DNA that has made Auburn great over the last decade. And the standard's not dropping anytime soon. They are not going to play down to their opponent. They are going to try to be the best team that they can be. And I admire them for that because I think that we've been watching other teams on campus not live up to that expectation and not have that DNA in their program. This basketball team is tough and they have gelled well and they are connected and they're not scared of anyone. They were not intimidated by this matchup. It was just unfortunate how it shook out and they were not able to score more points than the opponent did. Therefore, Auburn lost. But they were not scared of these guys. They were not scared of the number one team in the country. But where do we go from there? Logistically, we go to Vegas for the Players Era tournament. That's at the end of November during Thanksgiving week. But, in theory, like this team that's figuring it out, they're not figuring it out anymore. This team knows who it is. They know their flaws, but they also know their strengths. And sure, the loss sucks, as it should. But this isn't the story of the 2025 season. Like, this is the prologue. This is the game where the Auburn Tigers basketball team is going to look back on in February and March and say, that is where it all started. That's when we knew we were for real. They did not win this game, but they proved a point. And they hung with the number one team in the country and sure as hell looked like they should have beat them. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts about what you saw out there today. What do you think about Stephen Pearl's comments? What did you think about the play? What do you think about Tahad not necessarily getting hot yet? What did you think about Keyshawn before the injury? How do you think the team responded? What did it look like? Like, what did it look like? I'm kind of not going to lie. I'm kind of tired of playing in Legacy Arena. I don't think it has the same juice that Neville does or, bigger venues, but like, happy to not have to play there again this year. Because I think that was also a little bit of a difference. Sure, it was probably 70% Auburn fans, but what do you think about that? What do you think about Auburn basketball and obviously football to start off with Baylor next year? What do you think about all these neutral site games? Because we went to Houston last year and we played them at a quote unquote neutral site. So it ain't too different, but let me know what you thought about tonight. Let me know what you think. How do you think this is going to go for the next couple of weeks and certainly down into the start of 2026 and potentially even the tournament? Obviously I think that we make that, but we'll do a whole review of the Ken Palm and everything like that probably later in the week now that we've got a really, really good basketball matchup under our belts. But go join the conversation on X, in the comments down below on YouTube. Don't forget to like and share this video. It helps me out immensely. And I'm glad that folks are enjoying these videos. I personally can't wait to make more. I love making them every day. And with your engagement, it helps me get the content, the right content to you, content that you want to watch and enjoy. And hopefully we're making takes. I'm making takes on games that the Tigers win over the next few months in all the sports. Obviously, got 2 more weeks of football. Got 30 more basketball games. Got baseball is going to start up. Like we are going to be on a roll. with these Tigers on a Roll. So I'm excited to stay making content, and I hope that you all stay tuned. But until tomorrow, folks, let's talk on Twitter. Hit me up in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. And until tomorrow's video, War Eagle, and I will see you.